arts degree in architecture. Shortly thereafter, his career began at the County of Riverside. While working at the county, he met his wife, Susie. They were married in 1990 and have 2 adult children. Mayor Lara's career began as an architectural draftsman in the Riverside County Building Services Department. He was soon promoted to a building inspector in the newly named Riverside County Department of Building and Safety. Mike excelled as a building inspector while completing his Bachelor of Science degree at the California Baptist University. He is currently the Riverside County building official. Mayor Lara has an impressive history of activism in the community. While his children were growing up, he volunteered to help the Pass Stingrays, coached Beaumont youth baseball for several years, and volunteered in his church Awana program. In 2013, Mayor Lara was appointed to the board of directors for the Beaumont Cherry Valley Recreation and Park District. He served on the board for 1 year until he was elected to City Council in 2014. It's my pleasure, and I hope you put your hands together and give a big round of applause for our mayor, Mike Lara.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Lara, obviously the mayor of Beaumont. It's great to see you all here, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. Can you hear me okay? All right. So I'd like to welcome you all to the Chamber of Commerce annual State of the City Luncheon. And at this moment, I'd like to introduce some new faces to you, to our Beaumont family. We have the interim city manager, Mr. Richard Warren. We have our new Director of Public Works and City Engineer, Amar Jakar. We also have some not-so-new faces with the city, and it just basically changing titles. We have the new Chief of Police, Mr. Sean Talise. We also have here today our Administrative Services Director, Ms. Carrie Mendoza. I also have one of my biggest supporters here, my wife, Susie Lara. And the lady who started it all 55 years ago, my mom, Esther Lara. My aunt, my brother-in-law, and my sister have also joined me. I just want to let you know they're over there, so if you've got something bad to say about the presentation, make sure you say it over there, because my mom's a little older, but she's wider. So I have to tell you, this is an extraordinary time for the city of Beaumont. So my State of the City address is going to be anything but ordinary. It's going to be, it'll be a stripped down presentation. So we eliminated the fog machine. There'll be no walkout music today. And the pyrotechnics we had to save for the 4th of July celebration. So this is really going to be just a kind of a nuts and bolts presentation, if you will. See, the important message here today is going to be the information that I can provide to you all here so that you have an understanding of where we are as a city and what your city council or your elected officials are doing for you. You know, initially, a few weeks ago, it was asked, should we even have a State of the City luncheon? Or should we do a State of the City? Some of the lawyers are telling us no, that there's still things that are being investigated. You know, I risk saying something wrong. It's too raw. People are mad. But I think this is the exact time that we need to have a State of the City luncheon. We need to come together as a community. We need to talk about the facts. We need to talk about the challenges and the plans and find out what your elected leaders are up to. So I'll give you an overview of the presentation. Now, I've got about 30 minutes, and when I was paying my kids allowance, I couldn't get them to listen to me for 5 minutes, so I'm going to ask you to bear with me for 30, okay? As I touched on earlier, if you were expecting a presentation about how wonderful and perfect your city is, well, I can tell you right now you're going to be disappointed. And I'm not going to gloss over things. If you want the straight facts about what is going on in our city, and what your elected leaders are doing about it, then you've come to the right place, and I think you'll be very satisfied. My goal here today is to instill in you that the city business and services are continuing, and they're being provided ably by 126 public servants, excuse me. So I really don't want what's happened recently to overshadow their ongoing commitment and dedication to serving you all. We are not paralyzed here. And let me just repeat that one more time. We as a city are not paralyzed. I'm here to share with you reasons to be proud of your city, including our great quality of life here. And finally, I want to put some perspective on how to look at the latest events, send a message to those that are rightfully, and I do mean rightfully upset, to work with your city and help us rebuild and restore the public trust. Now please, I know that the police officers, I'm hoping, are the only ones that are packing today, so I don't want you to shoot the message. So I'm only going to whine just this one time. This city council was only here months when we started uncovering concerns. In other words, we inherited a difficult situation. We didn't create it. That said, it is now our responsibility to fix things as expeditiously as possible. Keeping in mind that it probably took us 10 years to get where we are today. So it's important to note that this council has been action-oriented, not afraid to make tough decisions to right our city's ship. In the end, you should be proud of your elected officials. If I was limited to 2 words to describe this council, it would be accountability and transparency. These are 2 key elements of good governance. They truly guide the city council's action, and you will hear these themes throughout this presentation. After all, accountability and transparency are the best inoculations, or flu shots, if you will, against repeating the past. So, what has happened since the last day of the city? Well, we didn't pay the light bill. We uncovered the very poor fiscal operational management practices by former city management. We found information that, at least from an appearance perspective, looked like breaches of ethical standards. We have cooperated and shared all relevant information with the district attorney. We uncovered the fact that the city's general fund, which is the fund where most services are budgeted, is insolvent, and it has been for many years. We have brought in turnaround experts to look at how we manage our finances, how we make decisions, how we account for our resources, how transparent we are, and just exactly what happened to get us here today. I can tell you, uncovering this information is painful, it's extremely embarrassing, and it's expensive. And the worst of it all is it takes way too long, but it must be done in order for us to learn what happened and install controls, systems, and people to reduce the likelihood that this will happen again. We know some things will go to public funds, but we need to know exactly where the money was spent appropriately. What did we get for it? And whether there are more issues of concern. So, you may ask, what has your council done to prevent this from happening? Well, we actually just got back to the basics. We created more controls, checks and balances. We changed our purchasing and contracting practices, requiring competition and mandating reporting to the council for oversight before committing our precious resources. We replaced most long-term contracts, and we got rid of all the sweetheart deals. We hired outside auditors, changed management, increased transparency in the budget, and added a transparency portal. We adopted strict new financial management policies, directing the city manager on how to account and manage the use of our public resources. Now, I'm sure you've read or you've heard about ongoing investigations and audits, so I'll cover some of those now. In situations like this, once word gets out, other interested agencies across the state and country that have a regulatory or an accountability mission will want to come in and investigate what happened and hold those folks that acted inappropriately accountable for their actions. We have closely worked with all of these agencies, and we will continue to support their mission. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, which is responsible for enforcing federal security laws, in this instance, the issuing and marketing of debt, has opened an investigation similar to the district attorney. This is typically a confidential process unless public actions are taken. We are fully cooperating with them, and at this stage, it is inappropriate for me to provide further comment. So we will continue to honor the process. District Attorney. After more than a year of investigation, the DA arrested former employees and contractors of the city. Now, I think it's important to note that speaking with one of the investigators, he indicated that an investigation like this typically will take about 2 years. But because of the support from our interim city manager and council's direction to maintain open and transparent government, they were able to wrap this up in a little over a year. So we will continue to provide more information as we find it. To the extent that they hold any public officials or contractors accountable for breach of public trust, we, your council, support that 100%. The State Controller's Office audit. This is a state agency that has a robust audit division that conducted a lengthy audit of past activities and made numerous findings. Much of what they found or concluded was not a surprise to us. In fact, we agreed with their findings and recommendations and have already implemented many of the recommendations and have committed to providing them regular updates as based on our progress. Board of Equalization audit. This is the agency that administers and enforces the system of taxation in the state. They completed their audit and found that back sales taxes were due, and the city has made an appropriate payment and has paid it full. So, as you might guess, there's a huge ongoing effort on our part to coordinate and assist these agencies. However, we think this is the right thing to do as we see ourselves aligned with these agencies to hold the responsible people accountable. We still have outstanding litigation that's ongoing with WRCOG. This is a regional transportation agency that collects fees and other revenue and uses the funds to construct major transportation infrastructure. They have sued the city over the potential of non-payment of fees and have prevailed at the Superior Court level. And this judgment is currently on appeal. The judgment rendered at the Superior Court level was $45 million against the city, and with interest could amount to about $60 million. Obviously, it is in the best interest of all parties in this case, just like you would with any litigation, is to resolve this and avoid any additional litigation. But we're not there yet. Sounds like we should be, but we are not. There's a lot more heavy lifting for the city. Hopefully, I properly described everything that has occurred today, provided some context for why they have or still occurring. Yet there's more work ahead of us. I will explain what each major item is and its importance to the city's future. You're going to hear a lot about a workout plan to sustainability. This will be our plan to get our financial house in order. Provide the steps to build a city that we want for the future. Again, with the help of experienced financial turnaround team we brought in, along with the interim city manager, we uncovered that the city's general fund is insolvent by roughly $8 million. Now, this is an estimate without the benefit of a complete independent audit that is currently in process. So that number may change. It may go up or down. We're not sure until the audit is complete. The general fund, as I mentioned earlier, is the funding source for most city services. It appears that the city did not act in a rational decision, did not make good budgetary decisions going through the Great Recession, as other cities and counties did at that time. The city was simply spending more than it had coming in this year. The city was inappropriately relying on other dedicated funds to pay the general fund costs. Once we became aware of this, the council immediately cut the general fund budget by $4 million. This was in an effort to stop the fiscal bleeding and force the city to live within the revenue that was coming in. Unfortunately, this caused painful layoffs and compensation reductions for city employees who willingly worked with us to come to those agreements. We are now tightly managing our finances and requiring constant check-ins with City Council so we can live within our budget, or like you do at home, you live within your means. Now, we're close to completing a rigorous review of the city's organizational structure, reviewing how it provides services, what services it provides, and are they necessary, and how it can cut costs, and are there any more surprises or vulnerabilities to the city's finances. And then finally, how do we gradually work our way out of insolvency in order to produce a sustainable future for our city. The results of this work will be discussed in open session soon, and we will be discussing and communicating options going forward. Can we cut more costs? Should we raise revenues? These are basic questions that we'll be addressing in the near future. You know, I'm a building official for the county of Riverside, and I kind of look at things, starting with the foundation. We've got to have a good foundation before we start building on it. So, similar to a house, we in the city need to be on a solid fiscal foundation, and we are not there now. This is where more painful choices will be discussed. Our first priority is to protect the health and welfare of our citizens. Yet, most quality communities are not defined solely by police and fire departments. There are other city services important to the community. So remember, as we go along after this, the workout plan to sustainability. It's a roadmap to our future. And if you remember back about 2010, you had the City of Bell issue that had arisen. 5 years later, they are working to become fiscally solvent, doing a good job at it. So it is possible. You hear a lot about community facilities districts, or CFDs as they're called, same as Melrose, and you also hear about development impact fees, or DIF. Bowen has historically used these two sources as a tool to fund most infrastructure improvements in our city. It is also a funding source for some services. CFD levies a special tax that property owners pay, as opposed to the DIF, which is a fee paid by developers to mitigate growth. Like the rest of the city budget, the accounting for how these monies have been used has not been adequate at all. We commissioned an extensive review on how these funds were used in the past. In some cases, we went back as far as 20 years to see what happened in this program. Naturally, people want to know, what did they get for their money? We know some things were built with these funds, but we need more details. This reconciliation process is going to try and answer that question. At this stage, we are focused on what was done with CFD bond proceeds. The results of this process will soon be disclosed to all of us. Again, this goes back to those key elements I mentioned earlier: accountability and transparency. We have been getting more information about the CFD program. We have adopted new policies and procedures to ensure this program is managed properly on a going forward basis. So it's not all bad news. Here's some good stuff. This council has felt the need for more citizen involvement. We'd like to get citizen involvement on important policy matters, so we have created two committees that have citizens and council members vetting important policy issues and providing that extra level of transparency. We created the Standing Financial Committee to provide council advice on financial matters and policies. We also created the Economic Development Committee. This will provide input on how to develop and maintain a strong local economy. This city is your city, so it was only right to include more citizen involvement in key matters that affect Beaumont. Kind of like those commercials, you know, but wait, there's more. Apparently, branding businesses see an opportunity here and are still making important investments in our city. Wolverine, a company that you should know, is in final negotiations for a possible fulfillment center. They started with over 20 sites and are now down to 2, and Beaumont is one of them. This could bring roughly 110 jobs, direct jobs, at the beginning, and at full build-out could potentially bring around 300. You know, you've heard or you remember reading about manufacturing drying up in this country. Well, Rudolph Foods is a manufacturing company that brought in a building, that bought a building in our city and is now completing a tenant improvement for use. It is important that we encourage the reuse of vacant buildings. Well, Aldi, the grocery store chain, did just that by taking over the vacated Staples store. So you can see other folks indeed have confidence in our city. We have more good things on the horizon. We are coming near the end of the professional recruitment done for city manager, and we hope to have a decision this summer. So remember, the quality of life in Beaumont is still great, and the people that are here are great too, and extremely supportive of what we're doing. Just think about the beautiful neighborhoods, golf courses, and parks that we have, as you can see behind me. Overall, our crime rate is down 10%, which is lower than many other cities. We also read about the difficult homeless situation in other cities, which is not a substantial problem here. And then look at what our people do for their community. Our citizen volunteer patrol and our explorer programs provide 9,000 hours of service. That would cost us $540,000 if we did the same thing with police officers. In 3 weeks, our community raised $28,000 for a new canine program. So as you can see, we definitely are blessed here and have a reason to be grateful. But that's not all. You have 126 public servants that are continuing to work hard for you. So please, please, don't define these people based on the prior acts of 7 people that are now gone. I'm going to share some fun facts with you. Did you know that our police department responded to 29,850 calls in 2015? For a crime in progress, we typically get there in 4 minutes. I'm not sure of anything I can do in 4 minutes. This is a very good response time. The police have also created a new canine unit. They just achieved full staffing for sworn staff. They expanded our neighborhood watch program, which is probably the best crime prevention tool in our neighborhoods. They are also reaching out on social media to provide more crime data to our citizens. Now, did you know that our transportation program transported 209,495 people in 2015, and we are on target to transport more than 250,000 in 2016. Our buses traveled 426,158 miles and operated a total of 25,421 hours. We are also adding a second bus to the commuter link 120, to the 120 route. And we are adding a complete new Calamasa route, which adds connections for travel to the county of San Bernardino. Did you also know that we're still pursuing opportunities to build a regional fire station? Did you know that 8,000 swimmers used our pool and 160 learned to swim for the first time? We offer after-school programs for our kids, and 200 senior citizens visit our center each and every week. Did you also know that we take care of 17 parks and maintain over 300 acres of parkland? We have 6 sport leagues and 3,000 players using our facilities. This is just part or like a Costco sampling, if you will, of what your public servants are doing to protect the health and safety of Beaumont residents and to provide the great quality of life our families deserve that live here. Now, what I want to do is just to make sure that you understand that our city as a whole is a sum of all of its parts. So we can't do this alone. We have to collaborate with our fellow public agencies, and this has just not adequately occurred in the past. However, we are working to change all of that. So here are some key partners that we will be working with collaboratively in the future in order to make Beaumont great. We have the Beaumont Cherry Valley Water District. They have 16,800 active meter connections. They're working together with other agencies towards a regional water treatment solution. And they are also planning for a 25,400 acre-feet of water as a drought contingency for forward thinking. Beaumont Cherry Valley Recreation and Parks District. The Park District encompasses 75 acres of parks. The ball fields at Noble Creek serve 1,100 children through Beaumont Youth Baseball. Our Beaumont Unified School District. And we had asked them for obviously bullet points, and we were going to get the awards that they had been honored with this last academic year. But like I said, I only have a half an hour, and this would have taken far too long to go through each and every one of their awards that they just received. So congratulations to you. But the Beaumont Unified School District is providing digital one-to-one devices for each and every student that attends. They've also implemented the STEAM program with college and career readiness, with a college and career readiness focus, which is also, I think, contributes to the increasing graduation rates. We have our friends at the Beaumont District Library. As you can see, you've got 3 chairs there, or 4 chairs there. 3 of them are going to be for kids, and 1 of them will be for a volunteer for their summer reading program, which is extremely important. So get out there and make sure you contact the library to volunteer for that. We also have the San Gregorio Memorial Hospital. The revenues continue to increase, and they've added 8 private room beds in order to keep up with the increasing volume. And then we have our friends at the Chamber of Commerce. Now this afternoon we have all heard and seen all of the good things that the Chamber is up to. And on behalf of the city, I just really want to let them know how much we appreciate their support and the things that they do to bring our citizens together. So if you would please join me in a round of applause for the So as I get near my close here, I just want you to know that I know everyone has the right to feel angry and frustrated. Whether you're a citizen, a business owner, a taxpayer, a developer, or other public agency. But please know that your council is here to clean it up and restore the city to good governance and best management practices. Because we too, just like you all, are victims. Today we have an opportunity to choose our future, to choose our city's future. Rather than showing your frustration by suing the city or turning your back on us, we are asking you to join us in the repair of our city. We are a financially fragile city right now and can ill afford to pay more attorney fees. If you feel harmed by these activities, please work with us to seek restitution or payments from insurance or bond providers or even potential wrongdoers. If you are a citizen, volunteer, join a committee, or run for council. I am asking you to work with us in bringing Beaumont back. I'm asking you to help us in bringing Beaumont back. We can't do this alone. You know, at the beginning of this presentation, I mentioned 2 words that describe your council. One was accountability, and the other was transparency. And right now I'd like to add a 3rd word, which is tenacity. The dictionary says that tenacity means persistence or the quality of holding fast. I'd say most people would tell you that tenacity is a great quality to have, especially when you're going through very tough times as we are today. And I'm here to tell you that your elected leaders didn't create this crisis, but we are definitely tenacious in our resolve and will be persistent in rising to this challenge and restoring the confidence of our citizenry. Now, our journey to that goal is not going to be an easy one. In fact, we may even have more setbacks along the way. But we are going to hold fast. And until we have the model of good governance that Beaumont residents and businesses deserve, I'm asking you to support your city in that healing process. Support your city in bringing Beaumont back. And come and be tenacious with us. So finally, I would just like to tell you how much I appreciate not only the time that you've taken to come here, but also your interest in our city. And I want to personally thank you for the support that I continue to get throughout the community. It's extremely helpful because it does get discouraging at times. And I hope I have shared with you and given you a better understanding of what is currently going on in your city, our city. And I thank you for your time this afternoon. And I also thank you for your support and appreciate you coming here, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Mayor Lara. Let's give a round of applause to the people who organized this and worked this event this afternoon. Thank you. They are the innovators that made this possible today, and thank you. I'd like to wrap up my comments with some words of wisdom from the book of James, chapter 1, verse 19. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. No truer words have been written for a community that needs to hear them. Right now, there are many people looking to the past, believing that is where we must stay. But we are in the present day, here to make a positive difference in our community. Everyone in this room has taken it upon themselves to make our community better through their efforts, time, and through various paths of service. Let's listen to what people have to say and treat those individuals how we want to be treated. We've all worked hard to build our businesses, build our community, and build our families right here in Beaumont. And that hard work never stops. The City of Bowen and the Chamber of Commerce have worked together for the past 67 years, and we stand ready to help facilitate moving our community forward, and will always support our city. This is our home. This is our Beaumont. I would like to thank everyone for spending their afternoon with us and for attending our luncheon. We all look forward to a bright future here in Beaumont. Thank you.